Good morning, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Thank you again for coming back. Today is May the 25th, 2022. I will share some news with you. I will start with a tragic news happened in Texas school shooting. So I'll begin with that one, then I will go to different news on Ethiopia. Let's listen. It's a tragic news, and this thing is keep happening in the United States because our leaders failed to address the gun issue. Let's listen.
A shocking act of violence has ripped yet another American town to pieces. An 18-year-old gunman stormed an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, Tuesday afternoon and opened fire.
Salvador Romas, an 18-year-old male who resided in Uvalde. It's believed that he abandoned his vehicle and entered into the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde with a handgun, and he may have also had a rifle.
As of now, no motive is known for the mass shooting. The 600 children who attended the primary school were aged from 5 or 6 to about 12 years old.
At this point, the investigation is leading to tell us that the suspect did act alone during this heinous crime.
The killings come less than 10 days after a gunman who posted racist rants online killed 10 people at a grocery store in Buffalo, New York. Gun laws in Texas are among the least restrictive in the country.
There's no minimum age limit for children to possess firearms in Texas.
The U.S. averages about 10 mass shootings per week. Nearly 200 mass shootings have happened so far this year. That includes 27 school shootings.
These kids weren't unlucky. This only happens in this country and nowhere else. Nowhere else do little kids go to school thinking that they might be shot that day.
The murders of the school children in Uvalde brought this response from President Joe Biden.
When in God's name are we going to stand up to the gun lobby? When in God's name we do what we all know in our gut needs to be done?
Despite polls that show a majority of Americans favor tougher gun laws, the efforts to pass national gun legislation have been blocked time and time again by Republicans and a few Democrats in Congress. With an estimated 390 million guns owned by civilians in the U.S. and few effective limits on gun ownership, the horror in Uvalde will likely be repeated again and again. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera.
Don't buy a new car, buy a used rental car instead. Hey, I know what you're thinking. That sounds crazy, but let me explain.
A second 5-year term.
Okay, I will come back to the Dr. Tedros Adhanom given a 5-year term again, and officially, it was announced a long time ago, but it's officially given 5 years term to lead the World Health Organization. So it's a tragedy keep happening in our schools and shopping center and different places because the gun lobbying group are very tough in the United States, and Second Amendment, I think the right to get armed, that's the issue. And teenagers like these guys, 18 years old, carrying, mass shooting with a heavy weapon. So that's a challenge, and our politicians unable to address it. So, keep losing our children and teachers. Now, this guy, I think he killed about 19 student and 2 adults, including himself. He also dead, I think. So it's a tragic, and no motive is known for this mass shooting. And he went to this little kids school and just destroy life. 19 youngsters killed, and 2 adults, I think 2 teachers. So Biden angrily spoke about this, as you heard it, but every time we speak and we condemn, we express our condolences, and we don't have the solution. It's gonna keep coming back again. It's keep coming back until we have a solution to deal with teenagers going around with heavy weapons and other criminals. So it's a tragedy, and I hope we'll have a solution in the future. We don't know when we have one. So that's a tragedy, a tragic news, and in case you missed it from from other news outlets, so you get it from Concerned Citizens Media. I'm sharing from Al Jazeera, African News, MNSBC, CNN, whatever, major news, tragic news, and some other news. So thank you again for coming back. Let's go to Ethiopia now. Ethiopia, the genocidal war in Oromia still continue. Abiy and his team still waging the war. Civilians are the victim of this war. They are losing their lives and losing their properties, So this is just indiscriminate war, and the world still never spoke strongly against this war. It's hidden from the global community, and not that much reporting coming out because internet is limited, and journalists are not reporting. Those government media are just covering it up. International media are restricted, so we don't have that much news, and everything is limited. But very restricted news coming out, and the civilians are still dying, even teenagers. Just the government soldiers indiscriminately killing teenagers for walking around, walking together, and the people, killed by the government. So this is like a strategy. It's like a strategy to force Oromos under Abiy Ahmed leadership. And on the first round of operation, according to the discussion revealed by Prosperity Party officials, is a failure. First round is a failure because Oromo Liberation Army operation expanding, getting stronger, and even the Ethiopian National Defense Forces joining OLA, and the public support for OLA is getting stronger too. So the first round, the Prosperity Party, Abiy Ahmed plan to eliminate OLA within a month is a failure. Now they are, recalculating their strategy and massively designing, to operate again in the second round to eliminate OLA. That is the news coming out from his military officials and Abiy Ahmed discussing the operation, how we cannot eliminate OLA from Oromia. That's a big headache for this government, a huge headache. It's much more than the Amhara and the Tigray operation, because it's very close to the palace. And if he loses oil, he loses the presidency. And that's a very tough one. So that's why he's using all the resources available, including foreign forces, to fight oil and to fight the Oromo people. His strategy is rejected, and Oromos don't like it, and Oromo scholars call upon him to end this genocidal war, but he's not listening. He is not listening. He is not designed. He is not born to listen. He just to fight, to cause bloodshed in that country. He will not listen. He will not negotiate. He will not negotiate. The other thing is Amhara region is also in turmoil, as I said before. Covert and overt operation by Abiy Ahmed and senior federal officials, in coordination with local officials, local, regional, and state officials, still going on. And according to different news outlets, about 4,500 people arrested. Fano members, journalists, and ordinary people. So the operation still continue. It's a mess under Abiy Ahmed leadership. It's really a mess, and never ending. And this is also reported, not only mass arrests, deaths of Fano members and other individuals reported. So it's a mess everywhere. In a northern part of Ethiopia, TDF also still in active operation, and according to one news outlet, is surrounding the Zalambassa, which is a border town between Tigray and Eritrea. So still active, and that's also reported as an engagement by TDF to wage war and take control of the parts in western Tigray and also Zalambassa. So nothing is settled yet. Nothing is settled yet. So let's read other news and share a couple of videos and end today's presentation. Thank you again for coming back. The first one is Ethiopia Federal Supreme Court session bench frees OLF senior leader Colonel Gemechu Ayana. The Federal Supreme Court session bench has today ruled to set free Colonel Gemechu Ayana, one of the senior leader of the Oromo Liberation Front, OLF, and subsequently ordered his release from police custody. Earlier in February, Colonel Gemechu was arraigned at the Federal Supreme Court session bench alongside where the case of him and other ranking members of the party more than 3 months after a federal court closed the case file. However, the court ruled that the defendants should remain under police custody because judges didn't know who arrested them. That's terrible. 3 of the 5 defendants in the case file, Kisu Kiluma, Usman Hassan, and Lamesa Taklawari have since released, but their cases were pending. And one defendant, Emmanuel Ijigu Marga, was reportedly killed by government security force, according to Lammi Gemechu, interim public relation head of the OLF. The 5 defendants were among the 12 senior and ranking members of the OLF who were acquitted of terrorism charges by Federal High Court, Third Anti-Terrorism and Constitutional Bench in May last year, but only Colonel Gemechu remained under custody. At a hearing on 19 May this year, the prosecutor was ordered to provide explanation surrounding the killing of Emmanuel Ijigu. The court also arraigned Oromia Police Commission on 23rd May to explain the circumstance surrounding the continued detention of Colonel Gemechu. Previously, the federal police explained to the court that they have no case against Colonel Gemechu, but were keeping him in detention on behalf of Oromia Police. At the hearing today, the court ordered the release of Colonel Gemechu. This is the second time he is being released by the court. Last year in May, he was taken back by members of Oromia Police in front of the Kilinto Federal Prison in the outskirts of the capital Addis Ababa as he was leaving after being freed by court. He was then held for 6 months as Galan Police Station and Awash Malka military camp, among other places, without appearing in a court of law. He also told the federal court that he had been detained at a poultry farm since 19 November last year. In a new report released on 19 May, the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission said that it is monitoring on the detention of senior leaders of the opposition OLF in various police stations in Oromia regional state, confirmed that were detained without due process. Credit at this standard. So, as I said before, as I reported before, law in order in Ethiopia is broken under this Prime Minister. This Prime Minister. People are just arrested anywhere. Poultry farm, military camp, anywhere. It's horrible, really. The constitution of the Ethiopian government will not allow such action, but who gonna defend it? All Ethiopians are silent, fear of revenge from the Prime Minister and his police force and military force. Yeah, when the citizens are silent, the dictators can do whatever they want to do. Abiy Ahmed is a dictator. He's a dictator. One person is destroying that country, destroying the law, destroying the life, destroying, disrespecting everyone, and messing the country because Ethiopians allow him to do that. They fear the military, the police, everyone fear of him, and they cannot challenge him, and the parliament, they cannot say anything. So the country is going down every time. This is the Ethiopian government, begging the Chinese pharmaceutical company to invest in Ethiopia. Ethiopian embassy in Beijing calls on Chinese pharmaceutical company to invest in Ethiopia. The deputy head of Ethiopian embassy in Beijing, Ambassador Dawano Kadir, held a virtual discussion on Tuesday, May 24, with Mr. Ya Tian, executive director and the general manager of Southwest Pharmaceutical Company Limited, one of the top 100 pharmaceutical companies in China, on ways in which the company can invest in Ethiopia. Noting that the government of Ethiopia has made the pharmaceutical industry development one of its top priorities, the deputy mission head highlighted the favorable market opportunities and the specialty designed location for foreign companies that are interested to invest in the sector. He also called on the company to make a pre-investment visit to further explore the country's market opportunities and reassure them that the embassy will provide all the necessary assistance. Mr. Ya Dian, on his part, thanked the DHM for the elaborate explanation provided to him and promised that he will lead a delegation from his company and make the pre-investment visit to Ethiopia. Yes, okay. It's okay. Investment in pharmaceutical, investment in research, investment in business is not bad. It's good for the country. But before all these things, peace and stability and proper government is essential. So they should work on ending the war, ending the conflict, before talking about investment and international relation. They should end the war first, end the bloody war, the genocidal war, end the hate in that country. Then you can deal with inviting foreign companies to invest in pharmaceutical and research or trade, whatever, other available sectors. So credit for this one, Ethiopian Foreign Ministry Facebook. So, in the war first, Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, and respect the rule of the law. On the occasion of the State of Eritrea's National Day, press statement, Anthony J. Blinken, Secretary of State. On behalf of the United States of America, I congratulate all Eritreans in Eritrea, in the United States, and around the world on the 31st anniversary of Eritreans' independence. The United States continues to support the Eritrean people and their aspiration for a free, democratic, and prosperous future. So that is a press release from Anthony Blinken, U.S. State Department, on Independence Day of Eritrea. Independence Day. It's shame. It's shame. They got the independence, but they got their prison. Eritrea is a prison for Eritreans, and even bad for Ethiopians, because Abiy Ahmed is also influenced by the same tactic used by Isaias Afwerki. They got independence, but they mismanaged their country, and they put a dictator in a leadership position. And he is destroying Eritreans and Eritrea, and now beyond that. U.S. government issue a business advisory for Sudan. Sudan is also still in a challenging situation. This is also a press statement. Ned Price, Department spokesperson. The Department of State, Treasury, Commerce, and Labor today issued a business advisory on Sudan, highlighting the growing reputation risks to to U.S. businesses and individuals associated with conducting business with Sudanese state-owned enterprise (SOE) and military-controlled companies. These risks arise from, among other things, recent actions undertaken by Sudan's Foreign Council and the security forces under the military's command, including and especially serious human rights abuse against protesters. While certain risks predate the country's October 2021 military takeover, the takeover and the military actions since then have exacerbated them and could adversely impact U.S. businesses and individuals and their operations in Sudan. Businesses and individuals operating in Sudan should undertake increased due diligence related to human rights issues and be aware of the potential reputational risks of conducting business activities or transactions with SOE and military-controlled companies. U.S. businesses and individuals should also take care to avoid interaction with any person listed on the Department of the Treasurer's Office of Foreign Asset Control list of specially designated nationals and blocked persons. The United States remain committed to supporting the Sudanese people's aspiration for civilian-led transition to an elected government. We continue to support the Sudanese-led UN, AU, IGAD facilitated dialogue around the transition process. So that's an advisory from U.S. State Department and the Treasury for businesses and individuals dealing with Sudan. Sudan is the challenge, and still their issue is not settled. It's not settled. Okay, that's the reading part. Let's share a couple of videos and end today's presentation. There you go.
I'm for Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, Director General of the World Health Organization, WHO.
And Director General of the World Health Organization.
No other candidates challenged him for the post. The WHO chief expressed thanks for the reappointment and hopes for peace.
When I visited Ukraine, when I saw especially the kids, I felt what I felt. You may not believe it. When I see the kids, it was the image from more than 50 years ago that came to my mind, so visible, so haunting. The smell of war, the sound of war, the image of war. I can't even understand. So visible, so clear. And it happened many years ago. That's what I don't want to happen to anyone.
Tedros, a former government minister from Ethiopia, has directed the WHO throughout its management of the global response to COVID-19. He has withstood occasionally withering criticism over its multiple missteps. He is the first African to lead the agency and the only Director General not qualified as a medical doctor.
The great experiences you had in here, and even out here.
Okay, one more. The last one.
The outgoing president of Somalia, Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo, handed over power to the new president, Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, on Monday. The new president will now have to steer the Horn of African country in eradicating insecurity caused by the Islamist group Al-Shabaab in the region. The tenure of the outgoing president Farmajo was tainted by frequent attacks by Al-Shabaab, a situation that may affect the incoming leadership. I thank Allah. Today, I am handing over the president office to the newly elected president of the federation. The new president will have to face several major challenges. A historic drought, which could lead to famine, is raging in the country, which is also plagued by an insurgency of radical Islamists, the Al-Shabaab. Today is a historic day that we should always remember. The outgoing president handed me over the office peacefully. As the president said, I request all Somali people, wherever they are, to support me. I also ask you your full confidence. Mohammed beat Farmajo in the Horn of African countries election held on May 15, garnering 214 votes against the latter's 110 votes in the third round.
Okay, so that's a smooth transfer of power from Farmajo to the new Somalian president. So it's good. It should be. We need something like that in Ethiopia, a smooth transfer of power from this dictator and this bloodthirsty person to another intelligent person who can fix the problem Ethiopians are facing, who can fix the challenge Ethiopians are facing. And we wish that day will come sooner than later, because too much bloodshed in Ethiopia, too much hate and conflict, whether religious, ethnic, and all kind of conflict. So we need a leadership who can handle all these challenges before too late. So Somalians, congratulations, good luck, and we wish you success really to have a stable government. So we need a stable neighborhood. So, good for relationship, trade engagement and diplomatic engagement with Ethiopia. But we need a different, better leadership in Ethiopia. Prosperity Party is a failure. The leader is a failure, is a bloodthirsty, and never believe in diplomacy and engagement, and is a bully really, and just killing, buying weapons, spending the country's limited resource, and buying drones, and destroying his own citizen for the sake of power, just to remain Arat Kilo. So that, I hope, will come to an end, and I hope we'll have smooth transition very soon, like Somalia. And I also congratulate Dr. Tedros Adhanom on, getting elected, chosen to lead World Health Organization for the next 5 years. Wish him success. He got it despite strong opposition from Abiy Ahmed and his supporters. So it's shame on Ethiopia. Shame on Prosperity Party officials, all of those who are supporting Abiy Ahmed. They campaigned against him, and he won. He won officially. So, congratulations, Dr. Adhanom. So, let me say, as I said, unless we change the leadership in Ethiopia, everything is in a very bad shape. Everything, whether we come to law in order, and whether it come to international relation, the hope for the new generation, the new graduates, the future graduates, all these are at stake until we fix the leadership in that country. You see, Colonel Gemechu Ayana, he was just kept in jail, and the judges don't know who arrested him. That's And this is a different kind of system under Abiy Ahmed, who promised when he came to power everything will be in order. He will respect the constitution. He will respect the human right, freedom of speech. This guy is the worst dictator now. He just believe in power. He just believe in war, destroying life for the sake of one individual. One individual. One person is destroying that country, and the Ethiopians are, mostly silent. Mostly silent. He lost the support, but the fear is there because the federal police, the military is with him, undercover operatives are with him, and he has shoot to kill policy everywhere. Now he's operating in Amhara, now he's conducting war in Oromia. Everywhere is a mess, and this guy is destroying. One person is destroying that, and the Ethiopians are silent, fighting against each other instead of challenging this person. And the parliament is the same thing. The same thing. We don't have parliament. They don't have the courage to challenge him and to vote him out. They don't have. So I hope it will change very soon. People are suffering. People are suffering, starving, dying of war, dying of hunger, drought. So that's a tragic situation in Ethiopia, and I hope the gun issue in the United States will come to in order. I hope we will not lose any more youngsters by teenagers getting these heavy weapons. So thank you again for coming back. Please share, subscribe, like my video. I will be back with other updates. Thank you again for coming back. Be safe and so long, everyone.